Hey guys, it's your indie author friend, LaSharman L.A. Jefferson. I just wanted to come on today. First of all, I'm going to say I'm okay. I have recovered. But this weekend, I had one of those times where I was tempted to give up, being an independent published author, an indie author. Anybody out there that is writing and trying to publish their work, actually it's easy to publish, but it's not easy to get your readers and just get your name out there. It's hard, and more than that is hard, it's costly. It just seems like every time we turn around as an indie author, it's something to spend money on. Just like there's inflation with food products, inflation with gas, there's inflation with this right here. There's inflation with the products and the services that we need for publishing our work. Book covers, editing, whether it's developmental editing, line editing, proofreading, all of these services have increased. And I just feel like every time I turn around, there is somebody offering services for authors. And it always puts me in that mind frame. Well, no, I want to say, sometimes they say when you can't be successful at something, in terms of, let's say, acting, you're not a great actor, or you never reached the height that you were trying to get to. So then they become teachers, so that's something that I've heard in the past. Like, if you can't succeed at it, then teach it to other people, help them do it. So it just seems like all these authors who maybe didn't make it, or I don't want to say they didn't, they just got tired of the pursuit, tired of the money grab. And I thought about it, like when I would pay, back in the day, maybe $50, $75 to be a vendor. And the way I would rationalize it, like, okay, if you're charged, or if I'm paying $75 to set up a table and I sell my books for $15, and it's a million other authors there around me, and I maybe only sell one or two books, not only have I wasted my money, I've wasted time, because these vendor events, it's 4 to 5 hours or more, depending on what the event is. And so that actually discouraged me from pursuing vending opportunities, because I was just like, I don't want to sit there and just wait. I mean, I'm good when I'm vending, I stand up, I engage with people, walking by, and, but sometimes it's just not worth the money that you're paying out. And that's just and I'm only thinking one event, because when I was doing vending events, I was kind of really only doing maybe one or two. The ones where I do well is when I do it, let's say when I was a member of a church. If I did it there, or if I do it at my sorority house, we always have a Christmas bazaar. We always have a Christmas bazaar in December. So if I got a table there, I would sell more than 5 books. But at this point, now I really had only had my 2 main books. And I think maybe 2 to 3 years ago, I got a few anthologies that I was a part of to include on my table. That was like a major, that was major excitement for me. I was tired of selling my first 2 books, but I just wasn't cranking them out like that. But yeah, so I only did 1 to 2 of those a year. And then when I think about the fact that I really needed to be doing more of them, to get my name out there, to just get myself out in the literary community so people would see the name L.A. Jefferson, and just get more name recognition just locally, because you gotta conquer local before you really can expect to get national. And so, like, I have a writing mentor, so to speak, but she's everywhere. I talk to people who don't even write books and they know her. I'm not even going to say her name because you probably know her, but I look at that and I'm like, man, she has not really gained any popularity outside of Michigan, but for her, she is happy. Like she says, she likes being an indie author. She likes having the control over her work. So she doesn't seek out traditional publication. She doesn't care about being a New York Times bestseller or any of that stuff, and that's great. And I don't even know if when I started writing, it wasn't so that I could be a New York Times bestseller, but I guess I did expect to write a book that, people would love, for, not all people, but the people that I was writing for, and I just thought it would be easier. I just never imagined that nearly 25 years later, I would still be struggling. And so this weekend, and I've had this thought before, like, why am I doing this? I mean, I have a job. I have a job that's paying my bills. I have a job now that I really love. I became a librarian almost 3 years ago now. I started in public librarianship. I absolutely love that. And now I'm an academic library or librarian. That's definitely way different from being a public librarian, but I definitely like it for it's more work-life balance, I'll say. It's more work-life balance than academic librarianship for me. But I like what I do. It can be busy. Like this week is crazy busy. I have more instructions this week than I've had in a semester. So it can be busy, but it's not the kind of busy that some people deal with in their work, where they're like stressed out, coming home, stressed out from work. I don't have that. I love what I do. I love that I'm there for my students when they need me. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could just let it go and just say, hey, get back to reading. Get back to reading. Let me show you something. Yesterday, I laid in the bed before I had to go to work reading this book. It was nice just to read. Now, because, I'm busy, now I kind of do a lot of audio books, but I miss the days. I probably got a book here. I miss the days when I just read. 20 years ago or so, I started a book club at my job. That was before I had started writing my first book by that time, but I was still in the writing process. But I started a book club, and it was probably just the most exciting and fun thing that I had done to date at that time. And it was just fun reading books. And just getting together with people. It's like now, ever since I became an author, I swear to goodness, when I pick up a book, if I start indulging in a lot of reading, I always feel like I should be writing. Like I should be, and then because now once you become an author and you're trying to get your work out there, when I do read, a lot of times I look at this and I'm like, man, I need to implement, I learn from reading now. Like, so that's what I'm saying. When I used to read before, it was all for the enjoyment of it. Now it's all about the writing craft. It's all about the craft of writing. So I can't even enjoy books the way I used to because I am now writing books or have been writing books. So let's say, I'll give you an example. You know, so if I'm reading a book and I notice some very good character descriptions, or maybe the scene, how this author wrote out the scene, and how they describe, you know, the home, or describe the outside or whatever. When I read that, it immediately makes me think, okay, are you writing like that? Are you describing your scenes well enough? Are your characters jumping off the page as vividly as this character is jumping off the page to you? So I put the book away, and then I want to get to my writing and work on my characters, work on my scenes. I mean, it's a good thing, but it's just the fact that becoming an author has kind of, it altered my passion for reading that I've had since I was a kid. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, so I was just thinking that over the weekend, like, and then because too, I also have a Sisterlock business. Okay, I do hair. That business brings me money. My job that I go to every day brings me money. My writing business, my writing career, it sucks all of my money. It just pulls, and it doesn't give. It doesn't give. I get satisfaction when I complete a writing project. I honestly do. But I promise you, anytime, it's like everything that you have to do to make strides in your career as an indie author, it's a cost. So I have my first two books, Unfinished Business, Reconciliation to Hell. Unfinished Business sells much better than Reconciliation to Hell. Now, because I came up, stop that, my dogs are acting up. I came up with the title Reconciliation to Hell because I just thought it was a perfect title. And I was working with a graphic artist, cover designer. I told her what my vision was. But I don't think it's a good cover. I mean, I didn't really, it took me some time to realize this, because even when I'm with my sorority sisters, like in the place where I told you, they buy my books when I'm there. And, but they don't really buy this one. And I think the cover is off-putting. Let me see if I'll show you. I think the cover is a little off-putting for this book. I would have had the books with me as I started recording, but I wasn't going to put it out there. But let's see. That's Reconciliation to Hell. That's Unfinished Business. This book was published, like, let's say the year 2000. This one, 2017. So actually, I take that back. This book was published in about 2009. Yeah, 2009, 2010. So yeah, so Reconciliation to Hell. I just knew that this book would be flying off the shelves. But I think people, when they see it, they don't know what it is. Or maybe because it has the rings of fire there, which I thought was great. Where is it? Which I thought was good. But anyway, so now that I'm realizing, maybe they're not buying the book, you know, because this cover is a little bit too much. My sorority, like, we have a national directory for authors. They didn't even want to show the cover. They put the book in there in the directory, but they would not show the cover. I thought that was, I'm like, why not? But, you know, maybe it gives off the wrong thing. So anyway, so as I consider getting a new book cover, you know, for this cover, or for this book. And even the other book, Unfinished Business. I'm thinking about getting a new cover for that and kind of doing a re-release of both of those books. That right there is probably going to cost me $300 because I think I have a nice book cover designer right now. Do I have it? So this is a book that I just released last Christmas. And I like this cover. You know, it's very Christmassy. The book is called A Christmas Stage for Love. So you see they're standing on a wooden stage. You got the little thingy there, the wreath. It's Christmassy. It shows that this is romance, you know, because you got a couple here. I like it. She did a great job. So I believe she charged me $75 because first I got the ebook, because at first I was only going to release this book as an ebook, but I decided because people, you know, they want a print book. This is my first true romance story, but so I went back and asked her to do it as a print cover, and I think it was $75. So the reason I'm saying it's going to be about $300 or more is because if I change this for the print book, I got to change it for the ebook as well. And when I first started working with this particular cover designer, she sent me something. She had increased her prices for 2024. You know, so again, more money. So I have another book that it's already finished. I'm supposed to be editing it. I just got knocked off of, you know, the things that I was working on last summer. I just got thrown off with some things. Actually, it was the summer before that. Because I participated in this, what do I want? It's not it is an organization. It's called Women in Words. So they pulled together African-American women writers, you know, who were trying to be traditionally published. So a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last year, we had a string of workshops, you know, where we were able to watch the industry professionals talk about, you know, various aspects of publishing. So at the end of this, you know, workshop series, it was an opportunity for selected people who had manuscripts that were ready to submit to, like, write up a proposal, upload it to the site for them to review our work. And if you were very promising, you would have this opportunity to come to New York. So I was super excited, like, oh my God, I actually have a novel that was already finished. It had already been edited. I hadn't finished all of my edits yet, but what I did was went through and did the corrections for the first 3 chapters, because they wanted like the first 25 pages of your manuscript. Sent that in, as well as the first 25 pages of a memoir that I'm currently working on. I send those in. Now, mind you, these workshops were absolutely free of charge. Didn't cost us anything. We just got good information. And I enjoyed being a part of that process. But then you get to the part where after we submitted, the people who were selected, and I was a little bummed out because I was not one who was selected. Quiet. I wasn't one who was selected to be a part of it, but I did receive a very positive email after they did the selections. And they did tell me that, because they were only selecting 30 people, it was like, I won't get into all the details. They were submitting 30 people to come and actually meet with agents for, move, baby, move. Go. My goodness. Yeah, so they were selecting 30 people that would meet with the agents for speed dating sessions. So, like I said, I didn't get selected, but I got an email that said that my work was very promising, and that if they had more spaces available, that I would have likely, been selected for that. So I felt good about that. I'm like, okay, so that's promising. They said I would have been selected, right? So fast forward to the people who have gone to New York. They didn't have a positive experience with these agents, who, come here, baby, move. They didn't have a positive experience with these agents who they were meeting with. Yet and still, they had to have plane fare to New York. They had to get hotels to stay in for the weekend. I talked to a person that told me she paid $1,800 for this weekend. And because the way they did it, it wasn't like they told you 2 months in advance. They were telling the people who were selected, like within about 3 weeks. I would say about 3 weeks prior to when the session was going to be with the agents. So that's not a lot of prep time, to get yourself an affordable ticket, get an affordable hotel. And yes, I'm just saying, I just feel bad because that's a lot of money for somebody to pay, and you go down there and you don't have a guaranteed deal that you're getting. You're just meeting with agents. That's like the equivalent of when you go to a writing conference and you sign up for one of those pitch sessions, where it's maybe $100 for the pitch session. Well, $100 is a far cry cheaper than $1,800 because you got plane fare and hotel fare. So I'm just like, I just feel like because the publishing industry knows and these organizations know, this is what we want. We want to be, a lot of us want to be traditionally published. I think I want it, not just because I feel like, oh, if I get traditionally published, I'm going to blow up. I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I would love that. But I feel like what I really want it for is the support. Working with somebody who believes in your project, believes in your talent, and helps you. Doing it all yourself is exhausting, and sometimes after you finish, one thing is just like, you might have to take a break. So, it's exhausting. And sometimes I feel, and then I know they say, even in independent publishing, you need a team. It's hard for me. It's been hard for me to get a team, even though I've gone to writer conferences. I know other writers, but it's like everybody is busy working in different genres and everybody's just all over the place. So it's really hard to get that supportive team. So at this point, I have a book designer that I like to use. I have somebody that did a developmental edit for my last book. That was quite costly. And again, that's just a developmental edit. Then I had to do the other round of the copy or the line editing. And then proofreading. What the hell? If you're doing a line edit, that should kind of include the proofreading, but apparently it doesn't. So it's just all of these things that we have to do, and that's just to get the book produced. Then you go, selling a book, marketing a book is a whole nother thing. That's where I really don't do the best at. But anyway, am I going to give up? Of course not. Why? Because I can't give up. First of all, I want to turn Unfinished Business into a movie. I want to write a movie script for that one. I have another novel, not even the one that I've already written that I have to do the edits on, but I have another novel that I have a vision for, and I kind of started writing that in 2022 during NaNoWriMo month. That I want to have made into a movie. I want to do a screenplay for that. So, I got bit by the bug. Ever since I published that first book, I honestly don't think it's going to matter what type of success I receive or garner. I can't stop what I've started, you know, because it's just always something to write about. Like I said, and then I've contemplated, because I've had some nonfiction pieces published in anthologies. You know, one, Chicken Soup for the Soul. That was one of my biggest accomplishments in 2021, I think it was. I was so excited to finally have one of my stories, you know, from Chicken Soup for the Soul, or published in Chicken Soup for the Soul. So I write creative nonfiction as well as fiction. So what I have been thinking about, once I finish these novels, I don't know, I might just switch over to be doing 100% creative nonfiction. But I don't know, I can't help it. I can't help that I get ideas for fiction stories. Like when I wrote this romance novel, that was my first time like really writing a romance. My other works are more so like women's fiction, contemporary women's fiction. So yeah, they have their main feature is like a relationship, you know, between husbands and wives, or boyfriends and girlfriends, with a common theme, you know, with these women's friendships, helping them get through whatever they're going through. But this was straight up romance. And I enjoyed writing it. It was like, it was a breath of fresh air writing this romance. And so that could be my new thing. We'll see. But I don't know. But I'm not giving up on my writing career. I guess, you know, we go through times as independent authors where we just have to, we get frustrated, you know, with the process. And sometimes part of that creative process is allowing yourself to consider, even if it's just this much, like, oh, what would life be like if I was not stressing myself out, thinking about publishing, thinking about how do I find my readers, thinking about why hasn't my email list grown? How do I get my email list to grow? What do I put in my email list? It's just so many things, you know. So many things. My doggies, it's time for me to get ready for the job that pays me. And these pups, you just in the way. You just in the way. In the way. But anyway, that's it. So I think it's healthy to play with the thought of letting it all go. But, you know, everybody's answer to that is going to be different. There are some people who decided to stop writing. And guess what? Those are some of the very people that are now providing services to independent authors, because they know we need it, and you're going to get your money from that. That you're going to get your money from. If you start offering services, you're going to get paid. Because I'm even thinking about myself doing some consulting, because I feel like I don't feel that I'm in a place really to help people with their projects in terms of like start doing editing and things like that. I could, but right now I'm doing my own projects, and I've always said maybe once I get to a place where I'm not steadily, you know, working on something, maybe I would do that as well. But yeah, I don't know. But right now I'm just mad, you know, with all the money that we wind up having to pay. I'm surprised the federal government is still allowing me to claim my expenses. You know, I still write off my expenses every single year. And, you know, at some point, you know, they will make you declare it a hobby if you're not bringing in the money to match the expenses. But they haven't done that to me yet. But anyway, that's all I got today. Hopefully the next video will be more encouraging. This was just a real. This was a real moment. And I wanted to share it with everybody out there who is on the same track. Because I know you guys go through it too. If you don't, please tell me the secret to never getting discouraged. Yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna sign off now and go to my wonderful library job that pays me.